Marketing and selling is essential in your online business. And when you have the right strategies and mindset, you not only can make a lot of money, but you can change a lot of lives. Welcome to the Online Marketing Podcast, where we help course creators, membership owners, and coaches market and sell their offers.
We're your hosts, Paul and Melissa Pruitt. Let's dive in and get started.
Welcome to the Mastermind series, where you get to experience Paul and Melissa and their mastermind brainstorming and sharing different ideas on marketing and sales.
My question is, when starting out with no list and having to go social media to do reach, what are some best practices for that? I'm looking at specifically Facebook, and my worry is that I'm seeing a lot of people that have Facebook groups now saying that as the admin of the group, they're getting practically no reach anymore, that maybe their members are getting some reach, but if they post something, maybe only 1% of their people see it.
So your goal is, are you building a list, or you just want to build a following, or do you want to bring people into an offer? Like what stage are you at?
List first.
Okay.
List. All right, so let's open up to the group. Does anyone have any feedback or suggestions, anything you've done as far as on Facebook with growing your list, or have you seen anything that other people have done? There's Sarah.
I'll put my hand up. So I actually launch, which builds my list. So I run 5-day challenges and they're free challenges to then sell into my membership. Yeah. And it builds my list at the same time as launching. So.
Love it. So one of the fastest ways to build a list is the launch.
Yes.
Right.
So then a question I have on that is who do you address the challenge to if you have no list yet?
So are you looking to do things that are going to be more organic, or are you willing to do paid traffic? What's your method?
I can do some paid traffic, but I'm not bringing in any money yet, so I don't want to spend a lot of money doing that.
All right. Sarah?
I didn't use paid traffic when I started. So I'm a dog trainer. So I posted it. I spent a long time doing it, looking for every relevant group that I was allowed to share my challenge in. The first challenge I ran, I had about 150 people in the group. Then each time I gradually grew, I started finding more groups that I could share. So yeah, now, yes, I do run paid ads to it, which is so much easier. But initially I didn't know what was going to happen. So yeah, I did it all free. I didn't pay for anything to start.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. So we always have a resource we have to give up in order to have something grow when we build something. Mm-hmm. So if we pull back on the financial side, that means we have to give our time and our energy. We have to put the sweat equity in. So as Sarah shared, is what you want to think about. And I think it's kind of the illusion that's online is like, oh, I had to create traffic. Nope, we're not getting people online that were never online before. We're not creating anything. People are already online. They're already doing things. So we have to detour traffic that already exists. So we need to think of, where are our people already hanging out? Where are they congregating? Where are they already having conversations? What's relevant to them? What's their natural engagement that they have all the time? And then we have to ask ourselves, like, are we invisible in that group? Are we invisible in that space? And this is real world and online. So if you had a real world business, like for years, we had a photography business, mm-hmm. and it was in the wedding niche at one point. Well, we went to bridal shows. We went where brides would be, type thing, brides and grooms. Because if we weren't there, we weren't visible, then that's where the traffic was. Like, we had to be relevant where they were. But we also looked at networking events, mm-hmm. and we found other people that already had traffic, and we got on their radar and we helped in a lot of ways. So we had a lot of other people that already had traffic, like DJs, wedding reception halls, things like that. We got on their preferred vendor lists and things. So that allowed, because they were already influencing these people. So on your end, where are people already hanging out? And in like Sarah's case, she found spaces where the groups or the spaces, real world or online, they allowed a certain amount or a controlled element as far as being able to promote your offer or whatever it is. Not every group is set up that way. A lot of groups are set up by influencers, mm-hmm. that they themselves want to promote something, so they're more protective. So you respect those sandboxes, that's those spaces, but where are the places that are safe that you can go out and create relevancy? When somebody wakes up this morning and they want a solution that you provide, do they think of you, or do they not even know you exist? So we have to create relevancy. So when they do think of this solution, that they are looking for you. And the only way to do that is we have to put in the sweat equity. We have to go in and serve and give value and show up in other spaces. And you can accelerate some of these things, so instead of just posting, when we get off of this call in an hour is an hour, right? Melissa's going to she was invited to go into a paid membership group to give value on things that are our area of expertise, because the membership is serving, I think this one, what's this group? It's a group
of engineers, but they have they're in the entrepreneurial space too.
Yeah. So it's something like we don't have a membership that goes after that, an offer, but what our knowledge and expertise is in marketing, memberships and courses and everything, they invited and asked Melissa to come in and speak. Now, can you see how that authority is very high? And because it's the person of that paid program is inviting Melissa in as an expert. So by default, we're probably going to see our email list pop, today and tomorrow, people watching live as well as the replay that are from this person's membership. So we do a lot of speaking into other groups. Some of you that are in Amy Porterfield's world would have probably seen earlier this year. She has a paid program that has several thousand people in it, and their team asked us to do a 1-hour presentation inside of their group to talk about a technique that we do for our challenges. So can you see how that has incredible opportunity? Because this isn't a free Facebook group. This is a paid one where people are paying monthly, and we have the opportunity to go in. We get the stage and go in and speak for an hour on a very specific topic, which then creates immediate social proof and authority. And naturally, people went and hunted us down for some of the things that we offer.
Yeah.
So but we have to get out. What I recommend though is put it in your routine, a daily routine, to go in and give value where it makes sense. And it's not always a straight line approach. You don't have to always look for for instance, in Sarah's case, dog training groups, you don't have to, maybe just pet groups. And there's a dog question that comes up all the time. Or maybe it's a dog agility group and she actually does different types of training. She comes in and speaks a little bit differently. It could be a pet owners group. It could be different peripheral topics that would also have the same potential client, in it. But I would make a list and I would just go and see which ones allow you to play in their sandbox. And if you just follow the rules and put it in a daily routine, give yourself 15 minutes, don't spend all day. Give yourself 15 minutes, go in, give value, show up, get out, come back tomorrow, see if there's any posts that are relevant, go in, give value. Next day, go in, give value. And you're just dripping. And then suddenly you're going to find people are going to friend request you. People are going to start clicking on your links. People are going to, because good, better, and different, what do people do? It's called market research, or other people call it stalking, is they're going to click on your profile. They're going to see your business. They're going to click through. You could have your cover image.
Yeah, so just make sure your cover image is all up to date and everything with that too.
Yeah. And looks like Sharon, you had your hand up.
Just a question. How do you find out whether or not these groups that, I've been doing exactly that? There are a couple of them that are very explicit. You're not allowed to promote yourself. Does that mean you should doing things in there? And how do you find out which groups are not overtly saying you can, but do?
So what I recommend is that you treat this like the real world. And you wouldn't go into, if you had a pizza shop, you wouldn't go into somebody else's pizza shop and hand out coupons to everybody and tell them to come across the street. So it's just knowing normal social, because a lot of us don't think that way when we come online. We throw out the social cues that we do in real world. So what we recommend is always read the rules, number one. But typically what I do, when I do networking in the real world, people think I'm an introvert because I don't talk immediately. I listen. I read the room. And a lot of us don't do that properly. You should go into these online rooms and not immediately post. You should read the room. You should see what the tempo is, the attitude, the belief system, the vibe going in. If it's one person in there and they're controlling every conversation and they're the admin, you can tell what's going to happen. Your stuff's going to get deleted. You're going to be booted out in a day or two anyway. It's like being respectful and somebody else. But just you see the tempo, what's going on. And what I'll tell you is some of the groups that actually have those rules, we become such a valuable friend and resource that the admins normally go out of their way to quietly make us aware of posts that we can contribute to. The rules are just there for the people that kind of come in, crash and burn, they're coming in, they're boom, I don't want to make any friends here. I just want to take. And really that's what a lot of times, but when you're making deposits in a relationship bank, every once in a while, you're going to be able to make a withdrawal from that. And it's really because when you have that tempo, that what happens is the admins, you're going to have a different type of relationship with them. And you're going to actually talk to them and look out for them. They're going to look out for you. It's just a natural evolving relationship. So think longer term when it comes to those type of things. That's why we get invited to speak in a lot of those, is because we see the long game versus like trying to make a quick sale.
Yeah.
And when you do that, it'll benefit your business as well as the relationships. We've had some people I remember Matt, a couple of people had a very large Facebook groups when we were in the photographer space. Like we were so collaborative. People could have saw us as like competition, but we were so collaborative. There was 2 different Facebook groups at 2 different points in time that the admin just wanted to abandon, like they were moving on from the group, and they gave us the group. So one was Mark, that was a lighting one, and the other one was about workshops. That was Matt. Like they gave us groups that were like tens of thousands of people in it, because we were just such a positive element in there. So just keep that in mind, as far as the long game. Yeah.
Patty, did you have something too?
The one thing I was going to add is that I've been very respectful. If I want to post something, I send something to the admins and I ask. And if they say yes or they say no, I respect it either way. And they have started tagging things in my posts and saying, please share it in the group with me. So building that relationship with them and respecting that they do have rules for a reason, and following them can be helpful.
Yeah.
Great.
I love it.
Awesome.
And here's a ninja thing. Sometimes when it's a big influencer, we give them access to one of our products as a complimentary give. And then they become one of our biggest raving fans. And they actually promote us in their group.
Yeah, I just did that.
Yeah. So
Hoping.
Excellent.
You never know. There's no guarantees. We're just improving our odds.
Awesome. So keep us posted, Kiva.
All right, will do. Thank you.
If you would like to work with us and our team to help you snap up more sales and incredible clients with a stellar marketing strategy that works, go to adaptivemembership.com and sign up for our wait list. We have a limited number of spots in our exclusive program to set you up for success and take action. We're waiting for you at adaptivemembership.com.
Are you tired of juggling 10 different tools just to run your online business? One for your emails, another for your courses, another for scheduling, and don't even get me started on the funnels. Here's the truth. Most platforms give you features. Funnels Cake gives you results. Funnels Cake is the only all-in-one system built for course creators, membership site owners, and coaches, combining powerful software, proven marketing strategy, and real human support. That means you get everything you need to build, launch, and grow your business, all in one place. No more duct tape, no more wasted subscriptions, just one sweet system to run it all. And the best part? It's only $97 a month, and that includes daily coaching calls, 24/7 live chat with real people, and access to our entire digital ClassPass library, over $20,000 worth of funnels, templates, and courses. So if you're ready to finally stop struggling with tech headaches and actually grow your business, head to funnelscake.com. That's funnels with an S, cake.com. Funnels Cake. Software, strategy, support. Your business made sweeter.